Why, hello. I'm a couple minutes late. Please pardon me. I was having a little bit of a technical problem today. I was having a problem with my Wi Fi. I must have somehow shut the router, shut something. Something was off. So nothing worked out for me. I hope you're doing well. I just wanted to check in. Welcome to the Backpack Show, where today, what we'll be doing is I'll be checking in. We'll be talking about different parts of business. We'll be talking about different parts of strategy. I'll read you a little bit of news items and that sort of a thing. And then I'm very much looking forward to talking to you, especially if someone says that their camera ready. I'll teach you how to get right online. So we've got Coach Woodard saying hi from the Redwood Forest up in Northern California. We've got Chloe up in Scotland. And somewhere, I imagine, they're coming in. I told them I was going to be a couple minutes late, so they're probably a couple minutes late. My wonderful mother and father. So let's get going on the Backpack Show.
Hi everyone, Tim Kitzrow from NBA Jam and NFL Blitz, welcoming you to The Backpack Show. Your hosts, Chris Brogan, Kerry Gargone, Boom Shakalaka.
Backpack Show. It's me, Mario. Speaking of which, my first item of news today is that evidently there's going to be a new Mario Brothers movie, because that's what we needed. Starring as Luigi, the tall, thin, slender brother of Mario. Well, I don't know. I think I heard it's the other way around. So I heard that starring as Luigi is Jack Black, and then starring as Mario is Chris Pratt. So if that is true, we have these switched around unless it's going to be an animated show. But hey, what's not to love? A new version of Mario Brothers. If anyone ever saw that delightful movie, you know that there's a lot of opportunity we have to make a much better version of the show, of the movie. So I thought I'd talk about some various things in business. I thought I'd also talk a little bit about some trend stuff that's going on and get your take on it. And also just to check in with you and see what's going on in your life. So first off, let's see. I got Cody here. Cody, who's ostensibly on his time off, but everybody at dinner last night was saying that we had all heard from you, Cody. So I think you're doing it wrong. Hello to Leslie. Leslie and Jane, by the way, those trust agents books are finally in the mail. You were so lucky that there's people other than me on the case, and they can put stuff in mail better than me. Hello, Elizabeth. And look at that, my biological father, Steve Brogan, and his wife, Diane Brogan. Good to see you, as always. Mario has a beer belly, but can straight up jump. He's my motivation every day. Always a thought. So I want to talk about what's on your mind, what's news, what's going on in your world. I also, if you have questions about any part of business, I'm here to answer those questions. Ask me anything. But also, I was going to talk a little bit about some of the stuff I've been seeing around the news. One is that, as you know, I'm pretty interested in cryptocurrency. I'm interested in it just as an investment tool, as well as a little bit towards some of what the future of it can hold. What I'm finding interesting is that we keep saying that cryptocurrency is going to stabilize and be a little more steady, but at every turn it is not. So at every turn, it is still something where you have to decide for yourself if this is worth your fearful risk that you're going to put your money into it or not. And I can't tell people to do it, but I can say that if you have some money that is not currently spoken for in the next year or so, meaning money you don't have to access in the next year or so, you might contemplate putting some cryptocurrency away, because the rewards on it are crazy. Like even places where they're making fun of cryptocurrency, things like Dogecoin is up 9,449% on the year. So if you had put in some money into Dogecoin back when you thought it was kind of funny and silly, and it cost like fractions of a penny to buy some, and you by just happenstance happen to have 1,000,000 Dogecoins, if that thing hits $1, you're going to be suddenly worth $1,000,000 just on a joke currency. So once something's worth $1,000,000, it sure doesn't feel like a joke anymore. So it's definitely worth thinking about. It's definitely worth pursuing. And I know some people get upset about it and they don't want to talk about it. And they I don't understand it, so I don't want to have anything to do with it. So learn, like start spending more time understanding it. Ask the questions you need to ask. ask how the process works, because some of the process is really tricky. When you make transactions happen in crypto, it expends some of your crypto for those transactions and can be expensive. There's a concept in certain cryptocurrencies called gas, and you pay some sort of fee for some of the transactions you make, and that could make something that looks like it costs $10 or $20 cost a lot less than $10 or $20. So that's the deal. Of note, I will show you one website really quick, and I'm only going to show it to you just because I think it's worth you taking a look at the technology of it and all that. Let me hang on. I've got to push buttons by myself. All right, so this is Coinbase. One thing that's kind of interesting about Coinbase is you could track all the various different cryptocurrencies. You can see how they're doing. You can choose which ones you want to put your money in, and you can choose which ones you want to pay attention to. So of note, something like a Coinbase is a good place to start because it's a fairly simple website to use. You can really get granular on understanding what's going on with cryptocurrency. You can start to see trends and whatnot. So like today at 8:40 something a.m. Eastern time, crypto went down. Over the week, it's down, and even over the month, it's down. But once we see of all time, you start to see that it's up 40,000% since when it launched, of course, because it started at zero, and its biggest peak of all time was up at the $64,000 mark. So being that it's at 40, you start to wonder, do I put more money in it? Don't I put more money in it? Is the lifetime value of the coin going to be better for me? What do I do? So you start to see some of this information, and the reason I'm bringing that up is I want you to take a look and start to understand the numbers, start to see it. Looking at crypto in real estate transactions is not yet legal in Texas. That's good to know. There are places where it is starting to be accepted, though. Mark Cuban, Dallas Mavericks, accepts Dogecoin. Again, that kind of funny coin. You can pay for things in Dogecoin at the gift shop and also, I guess, the food shop for the Dallas Mavericks. Bienvenido a Miami, says Joseph Jaffe. Joseph, I sent 2 messages to the person that you asked me to connect you to, and I haven't heard back yet. So hopefully I can get that handled. Apologize for that. Hey, Marion, good to see you as well. So that's all I'm going to talk about crypto today. But the other side of it, I guess, to also look at, we'll talk about some other time, are NFTs, which are these collectibles you're starting to see. The phrase means non-fungible token, which means kind of a one-of-a-kind item. But if you think about other collectibles that you've ever seen over time, like figurines or plates or special stamps or something like that, that's what these are. They're just the digital equivalent of. And in a world where maybe owning a lot of physical things isn't as appealing to some people, it's kind of interesting and of note to start taking a look at that. There are some other companies that are making digital collectibles accessible. One example of that, by the way, is there's a company called V, I think it's called. They have the rights to do digital collectibles for Marvel products and for DC comic products and a bunch of other entities. And so, for instance, some of these digitals started out at about $100 and are now already worth $4,000 or $5,000. So something like that is also on the play. And we're starting to see more and more of these kinds of collectibles take place, by the way. So, for instance, I just saw one. In horror movies, Pinhead from the Hellraiser movies just had some collectibles just in time for Halloween. Leslie points out jokingly, but wait till you hear this, collectibles that don't need to be dusted. One thing you can do with these collectibles, I can't really give you a great demo of this, I don't think. I'll try it another time. One thing that's interesting about these collectibles are you can use a lot of them you can use in what's called an AR mode, which is augmented reality. So I could put a table behind here, and then I could stand up the collectible on the table, and you could see it as if it was just resting on the table. And so I did that with Vince the other day as we were going through a drive-through window for iced coffee, and I had a Batman one. And the funny part was that he looked like a little kid. It looked like a 3-year-old in a Batman costume trying to get into the McDonald's. Cody points out that royalty exchanges with NFTs will change the game. Yeah, so there's a few things that are going on that are kind of interesting. One is things like royalty exchanges. Another is some people are using NFTs as tickets to conferences. Some people are using NFTs as the digital download validation of buying an album. There are movies being released on NFT. So Leslie says, that wasn't a joke. I hate collectibles. So this is fascinating. Yeah. Well, imagine, someone else in your house. So imagine someone in your house loves Garbage Pail Kids. They want to have a nice glass case full of Garbage Pail Kids. Well, now they don't have to. Now they can have them on their phone and they can take them out and look at them all they want. And they feel, just as exciting to look at, insofar as it's a thing that you think is cool. The Batman one that I have, I like it because it's by this artist that I really like, Mike Mignola. So it's definitely an experience. But there are also other people who, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. There are some people who are buying NFTs, and there's a guy who bought one for $3,000, turned around and sold it for $1.2 million, put his kids straight through college. Dean says, I just bought my first NFT and I'm on a steep learning curve. Dean, knowing that you were on the fence for so many years, congratulations for getting involved. That's actually pretty good information. I'm pretty excited to hear that. So, all right, I'm going to take a look at some other news real quick and see if there's anything else I want to bring you really fast. And if you have news or questions or anything like that you want me to talk about, my take on something, my opinion on something, I'm most definitely into talking about that. Let's just see. The IAC is in talks to buy People magazine. That's kind of interesting. There's been a whole bunch of U.S. stocks reacting to a Chinese stock, and Chinese company, which I keep finding interesting. This company, Evergrande, is wreaking havoc on the stock market. That's actually what took out cryptocurrency the last 2 or 3 times in this last week. So probably now as well. Let's see. You know that in America, there were 4,385 reported incidents of air rage. 4,385 people couldn't maintain their cool on an airplane. That is insane. I don't have any real commentary to add to that one, except I'm kind of annoyed. All right. Cody asked the question, hey, are you excited for the new potential Amazon department stores, or are you scared? I think it's interesting. I also think that Amazon's concept of that sort of just buy it and walk away technology is interesting. I think that I like the idea that once I'm in the store has enough knowledge of who I am and enough sensors that I can just grab a couple things and leave. I like that premise a great deal. So I think it'll be interesting. I think that Amazon will bring that beyond their own stores in a data collection capacity. And I think that it'll be a Trojan horse into Amazon offering you even more stuff, right? Let's say you walk into a store that has the Amazon setup, but isn't an Amazon store. And I don't know, I buy iced tea or something like that. Or Cody's example is clothing, right? So imagine I go in there and I buy some shirts. And they see on the tag, Brogan's wearing a 2X right now. I noticed his shirt's blue. I noticed blah, 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 blah. So next thing you know, you're going to see this setup of, Amazon saying, hey, I noticed you're buying blue 2XL shirts. You want another one? And there it goes. Dean says nothing accelerates the learning curve like being in the game. Yeah, that's why Carrie and I got into crypto coins on the Rally platform. We have our own coins. So, which, by the way, are cheap as crap right now. So if you want to buy some of these and you were just waiting for the time to buy them, this is the time to buy them. I think they're $1 something. $1.59, $1.53. So look at that. You could go to rally.io/creator/BKPK and for $1.53 buy coins. And if you know this, so just holding 10 coins lets you come backstage anytime you want. And then there's a lot of other things that we'll give you for options over the years. Leslie says, it's ridiculous that adults can't behave on an airplane. Watch the news, it never ends. Well, for someone throwing a tantrum for no reason. Absolutely. There is an endless amount. Oh, 4,385 was a higher number than I expected, no matter what. The reason I just found out the reason why Bitcoin went down was that China is threatening to ban all cryptocurrencies, which is weird because they launched a cryptocurrency. So who really understands? Cody was talking about the fact that the, what's the Amazon store situation going to be like with regards to clothing and all that sort of a thing. And there's another article out there asking the question about whether or not retail is ready to enter the metaverse as well. So, are we going to be able to have retail stores where once you buy the retail product, you're also getting a digital product like Vans, T-shirts, and hats, and sneakers, of course, for your Roblox characters. Carrie was telling me the other day, her youngest kid has some stuff inside of Roblox that costs, ostensibly real money from one point to another, and that those Roblox gifts are status items inside the game. So if you don't have XYZ in the game, or on the other side, if you happen to have XYZ in the game, people look at you differently. So can you imagine a world where you're going to be buying, Air Jordans for your COD character for you to be cool or not? So not only is the rage on airplanes, Elizabeth is saying, I saw a temper tantrum yesterday at Starbucks. It reflects on them, and start singing like a Disney princess, let it go. Yeah, for sure. Cody says, I really can't wait to stand in front of an Amazon mirror, and they recommend overalls because I have a beer belly like Mario, but I can't jump like him. Well, maybe they just won't recommend the spring shoes to go with it. Coach Whittard says, how do we reconcile issues of privacy with the convenience of Amazon shopping? Do we need to worry or just accept it? Well, so what are they going to know about you? I mean, they'll probably know your dimensions when you walk in, but what's the world going to do with that? 3D print you? The world already has more of your data than you could ever begin to imagine. They know more about you. There's that really old now case study of the young girl who Target's website figured out she was pregnant before she knew she was pregnant. And it was just based on kind of stuff the algorithm pulled together from things that she had been ordering. And I always joke like, oh, was that because she ordered a pregnancy kit, pickles and peanut butter, and sad movies? And the answer is evidently not that. So Jane says 3D print you. I mean, maybe, but there are other things that can go on with privacy. But I don't know which part of my privacy I don't want. Like for instance, my Amazon app knows my payment information. My Amazon app knows how to take money out of my bank with me just swiping my finger across at one time. Is that a bad thing? Not for me. I really like that, oh shoot, I need to get wall sconce. Next thing you know, the wall sconce is here. So it's not a big deal. Cody says, Amazon understands that it's much harder to abandon the cart in a physical location, especially if you're holding the stuff in your hand, very literally. Evergrande, what are my thoughts if that implodes? I feel like Evergrande is on a dangerous trend, but China has done this before where China brings something to the brink and then pulls it back out in this way that says, see, like Jack Ma from Alibaba was the top of the world in China. He was the most known businessman in China, most famous, super famous in America, started speaking at all different kinds of keynote speeches, and then vanished. Suddenly, no more Jack Ma. And next thing you know, he comes back again, but there was some duration of time where something happens where you just don't know what happened to Jack Ma or why. And so I feel like Evergrande is one of those, Dean. I feel like it's going to be one of those situations where the government acts like, I don't know why it's having so many problems, and then it'll pick it up again near the end. It's a weird theater in my mind. What it's doing right now, though, is really messing with stocks, messing with crypto, messing with some supply chain stuff. So it's a big question mark. It does also, certain investors in the U.S. pulled all their money out of various Chinese stocks and decided they're not going to invest in any trade funds where there's a Chinese stock involved as well. I personally have no interest in investing in a stock for a Chinese company. And that's not a racist choice at all. It's just that the government holds all the cards. So I don't have any interest in that at all. Can't wait to see more styles. Oh, so Elizabeth's talking about the Amazon thing. I can't wait to see more styles that actually fit. Amazon attire fit better than some name brands. And I think they're actually talking about design on demand. Yeah, I've bought a few Amazon shirts lately, and they all fit really well. Although totally randomly, I just bought a shirt. I just tried to put it on yesterday, and it was an absolute tent, even though it's the same size as 3 other shirts I bought, same company, different style. So either someone thought, this guy's pretty fat, we might as well make him a tent, or, there was a mistake at the old cutting floor or something, but it didn't really quite work about that. Cody points out, Elizabeth, just think about that. A little robot bringing you clothes, and they just fit perfectly. I would like that. I mean, especially as a guy with a weird body shape, not exactly the norm. I sure would love that kind of a thing. Listen, we're going to go for today. We've hit some topics. I've got some other Backpack Show stuff coming up. We have interviews coming up, too. I think I have an art guy coming up that I think you'll find pretty interesting. The gift that keeps on giving with really interesting art and creativity. And, of course, Carrie will be back at some point. We'll get her back on the show so we can have that kind of delightful experience. And we are going to move our way on out of here. We have a special Monday show for the art guy, by the way. JJ French, Twisted Sister, he'll be out. And so I think that's the deal. So, all right, I will let you go. We're going to get the heck out of here. I don't care what goes in my backpack. Probably something bad. But I was just listening to leaf blowers. And leaf blowers weren't very popular when my grandmother was alive. But I will say the first time she ever heard a leaf blower, she said something in French that I'll repeat to you. I don't even know what it means. I love the dynamic duo too, and that may